Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming, and I'm bringing you another 9th Age battle report. This is the last round of Strength and Numbers, the local Toledo tournament in Toledo, Ohio. Great tournament. Shout out to Jeff Parker. Team Salty Bitches is running up against Team Little Giants. This is probably my favorite team. Couple of guys on there, a couple of ETC players, but they all kind of took. I don't want to say like they're super fluffy because honestly they're good lists, but they all have giants in them, and they probably have some of the better giants in the game. There's a Beasters player with giants. There's an Ogre Cons player with giants, so the Slave Giant gets a reroll, and then there's a Chaos Giant. Those get marks. They're probably running the better giants in the game, and I mean honestly, let's be honest, giants aren't terrible models. They're just wonky, as one spin will say, wonky giants. So this was kind of an interesting round. And we're really excited to play against this team. As I said again, they have an Orcons, an Infernaldorf, Warriors Dark Gods, and Beastard. The only place where I could mock them is their Infernaldorf player can take Armor Giants, and he didn't. He took Kadim Titan. So knocks on them for not taking Infernaldorf Giants. Boo. Boo on you. In this matchup, we really wanted to choose our Hybrid Elf again. I think we wanted to choose our Hybrid Elf on our Dread Elf matchup the most. I wasn't as worried. Neither was our Beastard, really, because there wasn't a lot of shooting in these armies. The Warriors Dark God army would give the Beastards a lot of trouble because there's a dragon in it. But other than that, you know, the Orc and Goblin player, me, and the Beastards could take anybody. So we put our Hybrid Elf forward. They put their Beastards forward. We hold our Dread Elf back. Again, we really wanted to choose that matchup. So they end up giving us their Ogre Cons and their Infernal Dwarves. And then we give them Orcs and Goblins and Beastards. The other captain chooses me to fight the Warriors Dark Gods player. So captain versus captain. That's always fun. The Beastards get a mirror match, which is just hilarious. I just think that's really funny. Beastards fighting Beastards. And then the Dread Elves, I match up the Ogre Kings against the Dread Elves. The Ogre Kingdom list is really interesting. It had like a lot of Yeti. Actually, it only had like 3 Ogre models in it. Everything else was Yetis, Scraplings, Manless. Just it was a really interesting list. And then they put the Frondorf and the Hybrid Elf. And I actually feel like I made a mistake here. So I play against Warriors Dark Gods. The objective is the 2 pennies, the secure target, and the deployment was the diagonal deployment. So this should probably be a really fun game. So let's look at deployment. In his list, he's got. Let's take a look at his list. The general for the Warriors Dark Gods is a Chaos Lord of Wrath. He's got the Demon Wings Demonic upgrade. He's got Jack's Pickaxe. He's got the Dragon Mantle and the Sprout Rebirth. So this guy's got a 1-up, 4-up regen with Jack's Pickaxe, hitting on like 2-ups against everything. That guy is nasty. Oh my gosh, so scary. And he's infantry, so he can sit in the unit too. And then he's also got another Chaos Lord of Wrath with the Burning Blade of Chaos, Lucky Shield, Push, and Strength. And this guy's on a dragon. So, yeah, really tough lords. Really strong lords. I didn't realize the dragon had 2 breath weapons still. That's like really good actually. I feel like that dragon's kind of worth it actually. Worth it to take it in the game. Like 560 is expensive, but I don't know. Like that's pretty good. And then his core is just all normal warriors of normal wasteland warriors of true chaos. He's got 3 units of 10. They've all got halberds, musicians. What else do we want? And then he's got Chosen Lust. They got the 9-tail standard, which is really nice. It gives them the +1 movement. They've got halberds too. He's got another Chosen Lust. They have the Aether icon. So he doesn't have wizard. He doesn't have a BSB, but at least he has some magic defense. And then he's got 3 Wasteland Giants of Pestilence. So it's like a very straightforward list. It's gonna move forward. It's gonna get in combat, and it's gonna punch you to death. Yeah. So let's look at deployment. On my right, he dropped one of his core units of warriors, and then he's got the Chosen of Lust are actually like the old Bloodletter models. He's got 1 near that forest. He's got a giant. There's an objective right there. And then another unit of the normal True Chaos Warriors, another giant, and then another unit Chosen of Lust. So I think I got to choose table sides, and after I deployed, I was like, why did I choose this side? and he got to drop everything first. So that was really nice for him. So he's got turn 1 too. Looking at the other side of the field, all he's really got there is his dragon and a giant. Yeah, that's it. And a unit of more true chaos warriors. So it's a lot of infantry, which isn't too bad because infantry's kind of slow, and my spiders are good against the infantry. The giants don't really scare me too much. Again, I got a lot of shooting. My spiders are good against them. It's really just the lords. The lords are so scary in this game. Looking at my deployment, so I felt like I was scrunched back because I wanted to be further back. The only problem about diagonal is you can be at as close as possible. You can be 18 inches away, which is nothing for some of his first lords to get into combat turn 1, and we can't have that, obviously. So unfortunately, everything's scrunched. I got 2 wolf chariots next to each other on my right, a spider, a thing of 5 wolf cav. Then I've got pretty much all the meat and potatoes of the army. 3 of the bolt throwers, all the goblins, my general right in the middle, and then my shaman behind them. My BSB's in the common goblins, that's normal. All just kind of scrunched back as far as they can, still within range. Pretty much all the bows are in range, which is really good right now, of like giants or something like that. Yeah. Then looking at the other side of the board, I just have 1 unit of wolves, a bolt thrower. My boars are way in the back because I'm going to try and score at them eventually, and then 1 spider. And I kind of knew this spider was kind of matched up against like the dragon and that giant over there. I'm kind of hoping to maybe just kill the giant over there, and then I don't know, maybe sacrifice that spider to that dude. It's kind of hard. There's only so many places. I can't really hide my spiders this game, and both his characters can just annihilate the spiders in 1 round of combat. So it's pretty scary. So where's Dark God's turn 1? He moves. This is literally the only picture I have of his turn 1 because all he does is move. He doesn't get into combat anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's just like this army is so one-dimensional. All it does is like move forward, tries to get into combat. If he doesn't get into combat, maybe you can countercharge it, but it's pretty weird like that. But yeah, so he moves. And then the only important thing to note, I feel like, in this picture is where the giants are. It's what I do is I pick on his giants first because they're the faster parts of his armies. And you'll see what I do to them. So starting on my turn 1, so I actually called out my warg here. I wanted to get my general into combat with his giant, and I wanted to get my spider and that wolf chariot into combat with his lord, because I figured if I could get the chariot against his lord, put my spider against the unit, I have a really good chance of actually breaking that unit. Like, his lord will kill the chariot, but the spider should beat up on the unit enough that we could probably actually win in combat and then overrun them. Unfortunately, the spider, it was like a 15-inch charge. It was a short charge, unfortunately, and the spider failed it. And then I put 1 wolf chariot in the giant over there, because I figure, these chariots, I just want them to do some impact hits and get out of the way because they're in the way right now. Unfortunately, my general, I think he failed like a 16-inch charge with the warg, so I don't know. And then I put the green spider into this giant over here. Again, I'm kind of just hoping to maybe pop this guy and then just kind of overrun, maybe get out of the charge arc of the dragon, maybe hit those warriors. Yeah, I don't know. It's like there's only so many options I feel like I have against this list. It's really weird playing against this list because it's very. I feel like the game heavily depends on what I do, because I have all the shooting, I have all the magic, I have to get like all the counter charges, and he just has to get into combat, and then he'll do what he does, which is roll dice and win combat. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of pressure in this game. It was a fun game, but it's like a lot of pressure on my act because I feel like I have a lot to do. So in the magic phase, I got Flaming Swords off, which was really great because I have a lot of shooting in range of that, so that was awesome. It doesn't connect as much as I wanted it to. It still does well. I put 3 wounds on. I think I ended up killing this giant that my general was trying to charge. And then in this combat over here, I do 3 wounds with my spider, which is pretty good. I think the only thing that got through was the Venom Surge. Normally the spider is hitting on 3s, but against this guy he's hitting on 4s, which is kind of rough. And then he doesn't do any wounds. Actually, I think he does 2 wounds to me somehow. Or something, I don't know. He doesn't kill me. We stick. The chariot does a couple impact hits. and then is promptly killed by his lord. And then we go towards Duckhod's turn 2. So he wants to charge the spider. It's not a very far charge, like 14 inches. And he makes it, no problem. He's got that swift stride, so I'm a little bit scared to death about that guy. And then the dragon gets into combat. Pretty much the things that didn't want to happen on turn 2 happen on turn 2, so that's cool. And then you can just kind of a good picture of how everything else is looking. Unfortunately, as I'm looking back through my battle report, I'm realizing I'm missing a lot of these pictures, like the game-wide shots that capture everything. So I did kill that one giant that was in the middle. And then another giant has got some wounds on it too, so that's all really good. That was probably from like a bolt throw or something. And then this just shows you how his one of his chosen lusts moving over the flank, and then everything else is kind of far back. In combat, his lord does not kill the spider, brings it down to 1 wound, which is great because then it lets my spider kill his giant. So at least the spider gets some points, and then it's promptly killed by the dragon, which is okay. And he overruns a little bit. And then in this combat, this was huge. His lord comes in, misses with like 1 or 2 attacks, only does 2 wounds, so does 4 wounds to Jack's pickaxe. My spider goes with all its attacks, puts 2 wounds on this guy. I was like, what? I mean, I get a Thunderstop, which is awesome. I have 8 attacks. They're all strength 5, but he's got a 3 up, 4 up. Oh, I was so lucky. And then this was huge. On my turn 2, I move up one of my Cave Goblin units. I get within 8 inches. I throw my Mad Gits out, and baby, they both go the right. I mean, because I pretty much aim them both at him. One goes farther, one goes shorter, which is perfect. So they both go through. Don't kill each other. But they only do 5 hits between the 2 of them. Only does 1 wound. Gets past the armor and the regen. Chaos Lord's dead. Insane. Such good luck. Oh my gosh. That was amazing on turn 2. In the shooting phase, or between shooting and magic, I kill that other giant that had a few wounds on him. And then this is how it's looking at this, like the end of my turn. So that spider got free. His one lust unit is like, got 2 Mad Gits in front of it. Maybe only 1 if they charge the spider, but that's not even a great combat for them. And then I've kind of got my general threatening other stuff. I mean, yeah, the dragon can do whatever it wants, but I feel like if it goes into one of the Cave Goblin units, it's gonna get tied up for a bit. But yeah, no, I was feeling pretty good at this point because all the giants are dead, which is hilarious. Where's Duckhod's turn 3? He charges this Cave Goblin unit. They pass their terror test, and he gets in no problem. He also charges my general with one of his lust units, which I thought was interesting. In combat, my general just whoops on these guys, honestly. He just pulls out his parry weapons. He does 5 wounds. I think, actually, he does 4 wounds, and his little rider, the goblin, does 1 wound too, which is pretty awesome. And then in combat, he kills a whole mess of goblins between, like a Thunder Stomp and the Breath Weapon and the Lord's attacks. What is that, 17 goblins? It's pretty good. Probably could almost killed more. I think he had a low Breath Weapon, only like 4 or 5 hits. And they stick, because he doesn't have a rank. So that's really good. And then they reform. And then start of Orcs and Goblins turn 3. I charge my spider into the flank of these guys. I think this is actually at the end of combat. This is my only picture on this turn, unfortunately. I just get to see my shaman move forward. He's trying to get away from the dragon. Unfortunately, because the dragon's going to blow through the Cave Goblins this turn, because there's just not enough. There's not enough to withstand that thing. So at the stern of turn 4, and that's the other thing is we didn't kill all those less chosen in my turn, which is really weird. There's only 4. We just barely did any wounds. So at the start of his turn 4, the first thing he does is he charges his dragon at my shaman. My shaman flees, of course, because I'm like, I can't do that. He fails his redirect on. He's only leadership 9, and he fails his redirect, which was actually really big, because that stops him from going into something else. So, but then his lust chosen over here charged my shaman. He actually bounces through a Mad Git, an enemy unit, and a fence, and dies. I mean, that's so many DTs and everything. And then his dragon falls short. The lust chosen going to the Cave Goblins, and then one of his warriors units going to a bolt thrower. Yeah. So after combat, he kind of whoops up on these guys, but they hold. They have 2 ranks to his 1 rank. He reforms first, obviously, you get more guys in combat. That's okay. And then my turn 4, I do something stupid and charge my Boar Riders into his warriors. I'm able to charge my Spider on my turn. On our last turn, we finished up with warriors. My Spider was at 3 and was able to get in the flank over here. That Spider's just been doing work this game. Love you, Red Spider. And yeah. And I have a juicy charge with my general into his dragon, but I decide not to do it. And I regret that decision because I had 3 bolt throwers, and I'm like, I'm just gonna plink bolt throwers, and they like all miss or don't wound. So, in combat, this combat was actually looking really bleak at first. Like the spider barely hit with anything, and then it got like a 5 thunder stomp, and it killed like 4 or 5 models. It was like, yeah, I love thunder stomp so much. So yeah, I think we lose this combat still though. I think he just whoops on the goblin so bad, but the spider sticks on its save, and then the goblins are in range of the general. So that was really lucky actually. Over here, I think I do 1 wound. He does 3. The boars break. It's so stupid. I was like, I'm gonna risk this, and then I was like, why did I even risk that? Because they got run down. So it was very stupid. Where's the Dark God's turn 5? He charges his general, or not his general, his dragon into the goblins, and they blow through the goblins. Other than that, he really doesn't have much more movement. You know, he's just kind of trying to get by the 2 pennies to get the objective. This was actually interesting the way this combat worked out. His general and the Lust Warriors smoked the rest of the goblins. My spider smokes the rest of the Lust Chosen. And then we kind of both just drop out of combat because we weren't touching. So that was really useful. On my turn 5, I charge my general into... I actually tried to charge both those units in there, trying to get more combat res. But like after... Like I kind of both did the charges, and then after we looked at it, like, there's no way these goblins can get in there. So just my general goes in solo. My spider tries to charge these guys, and they flee. And then he fails kind of like a short charge, unfortunately. That would have been really useful to catch those guys. I think they fleed 2 inches, and it was like a 15-inch charge, and I just failed it, which was a bummer. In combat, dude, I go in, get like 6 impact hits, or 7 impact. I think I roll 6 on the dice, get 7 impact hits, do 3 wounds on him, and then none of us do any more wounds. I try and use paired weapons, which was stupid. I used my niche potion to go first. That was just stupid. I should use my current weapon. I was just worried. I was hoping to try and I was like, maybe I could kill him before he even gets the strike, because he's got that Hellfire sword, which is just scary. The good thing is that he's wounding on 4s and re-rolling it against my bluffers, because actually that was an important thing to say earlier in the game. He used his potion of strength to do a bunch of wounds to the spider, because otherwise his lord would only been wounding on 5s against my spider. So he actually used it way earlier in the game to kill the green spider. So the green spider's sacrifice was really important because he couldn't use the potion of strength in this combat. So I think he ends up doing 1 wound, but I make my ward save, which was huge. And then he flees. He just kind of fails his test. He's down by like 4 or something like that. He doesn't do any wounds to me. His dragon can't do anything either. Yeah, it was crazy. On his turn 6, he rallies Dragon, he rallies Lust Chosen, and he just gets on the objectives. My turn 6, our Lord's like, dude, this was good the first time, let's wash and repeat, let's go right back into it. So he charges right back in. Yeah, and then the spider charges the Lust Chosen, and he actually flees again, but we make it this time. I think it was like a 16-inch charge, so I need like a 9 on the dice. And then in combat, dude, same thing. Impact hits kill the dragon. It's like the weirdest thing. I roll like a 5 on the dice, get 6 impact hits, do 5 wounds, and you just can't make enough 5-up armor saves. Insane. Impact hits. OP. And then this is how the game looks at the end of the turn. So he's got, I think he just has 1 unit on the objective. But that's all he needs, because I have nothing else close enough. I think that 1 other unit might be close enough to get into it. It almost looks like it's 6 inches. I can't really tell. But it doesn't really matter. He's got the objectives, but I have way more points than him after killing that dragon. So the game ends up being an 11-9 win for myself. It was 14-6, and then I lost the objective, which I didn't even care. I was like, the fact that I killed both of his Chaos Lords, one with a fighter and a mad git. That's just so orky and goblin in itself. And then the other one of my orc going into combat, just driving his chariot up into the dragon. Beautiful. It's the most poetic finish to a game I've ever heard of. But yeah, no, that was like such a fun, kind of crazy game. The shooting really, actually, I feel like this game with my shooting probably did the best of any game. And I didn't even, like, the only really good targets were like the giants, kind of. Especially if you get flaming sword off, because then you can wound on the 5-ups, which is like really good actually. Than wounding on 6s. But otherwise, his army's kind of resilient to shooting. He's got 3-ups everywhere. I mean, against like strength 3 bows, he's got 3-ups everywhere. So yeah, not even a really great match, or not. I won't say it was a terrible matchup, but not like the best matchup we could have had. But I was happy with it. I was confident in this match. I think I would have rather played him than played the Beastards player, because I just cannot stand playing Beastards. Ugh, Dinos just ruined them for me. So let's look how Team Salty Bitches did. Team Salty kind of gets whooped on this round a little bit, actually. So our Beast Turd player wins, though. Actually, I forgot to put who wins. Our Beast Turd player won the mirror matchup, which was awesome. I think he just had the better list, unfortunately. The other Beast Turd player was running the Cyclops. Those are just okay. They're not really that great. If they turned up this game, they could have been really scary for him, but I don't know. And then I get a small win against the Words of Dark Gods player. And then our Dread Elf loses the Orc Kingdoms badly, 18-2. And then our Hybrid Elf loses the Infernal Dwarf, 18-2 too. And I think they both lost, but it was like 15-5s and they both lost the objective. So, yeah, I probably should have switched those matchups, but whatever. Hindsight's 20/20. So how do we do overall? We actually got second place, which was pretty good. Obviously, we won it first. We were the reigning champs, but you know what? I'll take second place. Second place is still pretty good. We won a little prize to Legend of Gamers. Shout out to Chris Leapley. Thank you for that prize support. That was awesome of you. And then this is how we actually went 3-2, which is interesting because we had actually just 2 big wins, 1 small win, 2 smallish losses. The Brews took first place, actually. The team we played round 2, which is awesome for them because they've been going to this tournament pretty much the same team, like the same 4 guys. I want to say ever since this is like I think this is the 3rd Strength in Numbers, and it may be the 4th. It's like the 3rd or 4th, and they've gone all the times, all 3 or 4 times, and they haven't won it yet. So, and it's also kind of funny too because last year they beat us last year. But we ended up winning it. Just kind of like the way the matchups worked out. They took like another loss later on or something like that. And we made, I think like the 2nd day last year at Strength of Numbers, we just crushed in our 4th game, and we just crushed in our 5th round too. It was really crazy. The way we won the last year was like we took a small loss in round 3, had probably like a softer opponent round 4, and then went into round 5 and just like crushed it out. Like even though we played a tough team. So yeah, I'm pretty proud. I'm proud of Salty Bitches, especially since we had a player drop unfortunately on Sunday. I feel like as a team, it really hurt us to lose our Infernal Dwarf player. He just does a lot more things that I think the Dread Elf list did. I was really happy. Shout out to Colin Scott for subbing in on our Sunday because otherwise we wouldn't have even been able to play. So yeah, go Team Salty Bitches. 2nd place, pretty good. Proud of you. In addition to the Salty Bitches doing pretty well, I'm actually really happy with this tournament for myself personally. So I had a 20-0 win, I had a 17-3 loss, I had a 19-1 win, a tie, a straight up tie, 10-10, and then an 11-9 win. And a couple of the people that I got to play again, like play them, like the Words Dark God guy. He played Infernal Doors like in 2016 Buckhead battles, and he whooped on me, so I was happy to get a small win against him. Yeah, I feel like overall I did really good. So I got 63 out of 100 possible battle points, which is pretty good. And then my objective score was just a +3. I had 2 ties, 2 wins, and 1 loss, which really tells me that my list needs to get better at winning objectives. I need more fast scoring. Like the 1 boar unit was good, but I don't know. The reason why I had that boar unit, I don't really want to give the secret away yet because we're thinking about doing a podcast. talking about kind of this interesting idea we came up with cavalry and chariot characters. So I'm going to keep that surprise for now, but suffice to say, there was an idea behind it other than it just being a big scoring unit. Because otherwise I'd rather have just a small unified force because it's cheaper. So I was the best on my team, but that's minus the Affordable player because he was beating me after round 3. I think he had 3 more points than me because he got a 20-0, he might have got a 20-0 or a 19-1. Yeah, I know we got a 20-0 the first round. The second round, he only got like 6 points, I think, actually. I actually did our round 2 scores incorrect on the report. I think he only got like 6 points, and then the last game he got like a 20 or a 19. So he's like 3 or 4 points ahead of me. So he could have beat me at the end of the tournament. But otherwise, honestly, just thrilled. This was such a fun tournament. Jeff Burkhurst, you run the best strength in numbers in the Midwest. I really would love to see this tournament grow. It's seriously such a fun tournament. Team tournaments, so great. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And this is Evershade Gaming, signing off. Have a good one.